Dogs. They're amazing. They're members of our families and our best friends. They hunt with us. Some see and hear for us. Some perform medical alert and therapy functions. Some take care of our farm animals.
They're our partners in search and rescue operations. They're used by the police and military, and many have been true heroes. Here's a quick look at four of the many amazing hero dogs from history.
Let's dig into this.
Nearly 3 years into World War I, the United States declared war on the German Empire and prepared for battle in Europe. Military members trained all over the country. The 102nd Infantry was training at Yale University. One day, a stray dog showed up and decided to stay. The men didn't mind at all, especially Corporal James Conroy, who became very attached to the terrier they called Stubby.
By the time the 102nd shipped out for France, the men had trained Stubby to do all types of tricks, even salute, in his own way. Conroy decided Stubby would not be left behind, so Stubby went to France with them. They hid the pup in the ship when they landed. Conroy walked off the ship in front of numerous soldiers and officers with Stubby hidden under his coat.
When the commanding officer finally caught on to what was happening and confronted the men, Stubby saluted him, and he became the unofficial mascot and permanent member of the 102nd Infantry. He served for 18 months with his regiment and participated in 17 battles.
He was invaluable. After recovering from a mustard gas attack, a specially designed gas mask was made for Stubby. He located wounded soldiers and warned of gas attacks and incoming artillery shells. He captured a German spy. Many reports say by the time his unit caught up to him, he had the spy by the seat of his pants. The 102nd Infantry's commanding officer recommended Stubby for promotion to sergeant for his heroism. He was the first dog ever to receive a rank in the United States military.
Sergeant Stubby would be wounded at least 3 times in the war and save his men numerous times. He went home with Corporal Conroy and became quite famous, appearing all over the United States. General Pershing awarded Sergeant Stubby with a Humane Education Society Medal at the White House in 1921.
Sergeant Stubby died in his sleep in 1926. His remains were preserved and can be seen today at the Smithsonian Museum in the Price of Freedom Americans at War exhibit.
No one asked or even trained him to do it. He just couldn't seem to help himself. Any time Swansea Jack heard someone shouting for help from the water, he would take off, dive in, and save them. He did this either 27 or 29 times, depending on which report you read.
Jack was born in 1930. He was a black retriever with long hair, although many reports say he was a Newfoundland. The few photos and descriptions of Jack sound and look like a flat-coated retriever, similar to this beautiful dog. He lived on the coastal town of Swansea, Wales, with his owner, William Thomas.
Jack was only a year old when he saved a 12-year-old boy from drowning. And then a few weeks later, a man swimming yelled for help. Jack jumped from the north dock in front of a crowd of people and saved him. And he was just getting started.
It didn't matter where he was or what he was doing. If Jack heard screams for help, everyone in town knew Jack would be going to the rescue to find them if he could. He would also rescue other dogs or any animal he thought needed saving. There are some reports that he even tried to save a family of ducks that really weren't happy about it at all. But Jack wanted to save everybody, and he did this until his death in 1937.
Jack was awarded the bravest dog of the year in 1936 by the Star newspaper in London. He received a Silver Cup award from the Lord Mayor of London and is the only dog to have been awarded 2 bronze medals from what is now known as the Dogs Trust in the UK. And in 2000, he was named Dog of the Century by Newfound Friends, a group that trains water rescue dogs.
Laika was a stray dog on the streets of Moscow when she was chosen for an incredible job. In 1957, the space race between Russia and the United States was speeding towards the trip to the moon, and both countries were determined to be first. Since no human had ever left Earth before, no one knew what the effects would be. Several animals were used to study the effects of space travel. Sweet Laika was sent into low space orbit on November 3rd, 1957.
The Soviet scientists knew it would be a one-way trip. It was widely reported that Laika had enough oxygen for 7 days in orbit and one meal with her. Scientists were able to monitor Laika's vital signs on her trip, receiving the first data ever on the effects of gravity and radiation in a space launch.
It was reported at the time that Laika ran out of oxygen on day 6 in orbit and died. But in 2002, we discovered she actually died within hours of the Sputnik 2 launch, probably from heat stroke. A sad end to the hero that taught us so much about space.
Barry the St. Bernard lived near Bern, Switzerland, and is the reason we think of St. Bernards as rescue dogs. He wasn't the only rescue dog in Switzerland, but he was certainly one of the best. And yes, he reportedly carried a flask attached to his collar filled with brandy and food.
Barry was born in 1800. St. Bernard dogs at that time were smaller than they are today. He was raised and trained by Father Louis at the St. Bernard Hospice in Switzerland, in the mountains near the border with Italy. Father Louis recognized something special in Barry and reportedly knew he would be a great hero one day.
The monks of St. Bernard Hospice train dogs to find, help, and if necessary, save lost travelers year-round, but especially in the brutal winters when deep, heavy snow made it impossible to follow the well-used paths between towns at that time. Avalanches were not uncommon, and winter storms would appear out of nowhere, putting travelers in extreme danger.
Barry seemed to have an intuition many of the other dogs didn't have. He didn't need a command to do his job, and he knew the mountain better than anyone, allowing him to search much faster than many of the other dogs. When he did find someone who needed help, he brought them back to the monks, or ran to alert them and lead them to the person, and he seemed to absolutely love his job.
Until his trainer, Father Louis, died, that is. It's been reported that Barry became depressed after he lost Father Louis. He never stopped doing his job and doing it well, but he didn't show the joy he had when he worked with Father Louis ever again.
Legends say Barry was killed when he attempted a rescue. The story says that he dug a man out of an avalanche, only to have the man stab him when he mistook Barry for a wolf. But the truth is, Barry retired from active service, living out his days at the hospice, dying in 1814.
He became a famous hero for saving 40 men, women, and children in the Swiss mountains during his lifetime. His body was donated to the Natural History Museum of Bern, and he is still remembered to this day as a hero.
We hope you enjoyed this quick look at these amazing hero dogs. We'd love to hear from you and hear what your favorite hero dog story is in the comments.
Or just tell us about your own four-legged best friend.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hit that bell if you want to be notified for new videos.
And we'll see you on the next one.